my name is Schyler Church. I am a California real estate broker as well as a member of the education department at Accredited Real Estate Schools. We provide those course requirements to be eligible to take the state exam, but also make sure you're prepared to pass the state test with a multitude of different options for preparation. And one of the tools we offer are practice questions. We have a database of over 3,600 questions. And they simulate the state exam, but they're also categorized into the 7 conceptual areas of the state test. And one of those areas is appraisal. So today we're going to discuss just a little bit about some appraisal questions. This is about 14% of your state exam. So it's important to know about and important to be proficient in. So let's get to it, and also make sure to like and subscribe our channel so we keep producing new content. 1. When 2 properties are joined to make one property placed under one ownership, resulting in the value being greater than the total purchase prices of the 2 parcels, it is called A, contribution, B, progression, C, inflation, D, assemblage. Well, as always, let's dissect and understand the question. So it's asking that when 2 properties are joined together to make one property, and by doing so, it's this one property that's going to be under one ownership actually is more valuable than the 2 properties individually. Well, you should be thinking of an appraisal term called assemblage. Assemblage is the act of joining 2 properties or multiple properties into one, and then it results in a higher value than if they were individually. So the best answer will be assemblage, but let's make sure the other ones, though, are not correct. Contribution deals mostly with the fact on net operating income, where if you were to put something on a property, how would it affect the income, and the income would be increased more than the cost of the actual item. And that would be contribution. That's not what we're really talking about here. We're talking about joining 2 properties and to create a greater value than if they were individually. And progression deals with properties that are better in a neighborhood, and due to that, it's increasing your value. So that is progression. It's the opposite of regression. Inflation, that is just an economic principle. It wouldn't deal with appraisal at this point. So then the best answer looks to be assemblage. Assemblage, that is the correct answer. And so make sure, understand what the question's asking, formulate an opinion and an answer without even really looking at the answer options. And then once you kind of have an idea in your mind, go through the answer options to make sure you know the correct answer or the better answer, because they might be giving you 2 good answers. You just need to know which one's the better one in the Department of Real Estate's eyes. 2. Abel looked at many homes. Abel rejected the last home he looked at because he felt the price was too high. The principal real property value that is most related to Abel's decision is A, anticipation, B, conformity, C, substitution, D, highest and best use. Well, Abel is looking at a bunch of homes that buyers normally do to get an idea of what's on the marketplace and what they think the actual price is for the property, of the value of the property. And they're usually using a very common principle used. This is the basis of the market data approach as an appraiser. This is called the principle of substitution. Substitution. And that is when you make a comparison of properties. And that is what Abel's doing. He's looking at a bunch of properties and comparing them all. So the best answer here is substitution. But let's verify that the other ones are not correct. So as you know, the correct answer is substitution. But why not anticipation? Anticipation looks at the effect of net operating income that you're going to earn in the future. So what you anticipate your income stream to be. Conformity, that deals with how properties in a neighborhood or in an area are resembling each other and conforming to each other to increase value. And then highest and best use, that's usually what we look at on a vacant parcel of land or a parcel of land that has a property that's not worth much, and what that property would be used best for. So highest and best use. So, but the best answer in Abel's, right now, what Abel's looking at is substitution, is because he's making comparisons of a bunch of property. And so that is the principle of substitution. 3. Which of the following is not an unearned increment? A, reduction in local property taxes. B, more liberal depreciation schedules. C, rising population. D, over-improvement of real estate by the owner. Well, first off, we have to figure out what is an unearned increment. An unearned increment is when a property increases in value because of factors outside of the control of the property owner. And that is that appreciation, that increase in value is an unearned increment if it's something outside of the control of what the property owner can do. So let's go through this. Reduction in local property taxes. That is something that the property owner has no control over. So that would usually increase in the value of the property because the expense of property taxes will be decreased. So that is an unearned increment. B, we have more liberal depreciation schedules. Well, depreciation schedules affect, if it's an income property, will affect your amount of taxes you're paying each year because of the amount of depreciation you can take. Well, if you're able to take more depreciation, you get more of a write-off, so you're paying less in taxes, which would then increase your property in value. And that is an unearned increment then, because this is something that the property owner doesn't have control over. This is something that the IRS sets on depreciation schedules. Rising population. The property owner doesn't have control over this. This is something that's just happening out in the marketplace and in the neighborhood if people are wanting to move to that. Well, if that's increasing demand, that then of course is going to increase value, which is then an unearned increment. So far, just by the process of elimination, the first 3 are unearned increments. But let's make sure that D is also not an unearned increment. Over improvement of real estate by the owner. So this is saying that by the property owner, they're doing an over improvement. They're controlling this. So their increase in value is something that they actually have control over. So this is not an unearned increment. So the best answer is D. Over improvement of real estate by the owner. That is not an unearned increment. 4. Which of the following contributes to the maintenance of value in a well-planned community? A, conformity to proper land use objectives. B, houses of varying sizes and architectural styles. C, mixed residential and industrial uses in the same area. D, none of the above. Well, when we're talking about maintenance of value in a well-planned community, that is keeping value the same, constant, because of something in a neighborhood that buyers like, and it wouldn't decrease the value of the property. Well, looking at this, let's see here. Conformity to proper land use objectives. Well, if all of the homes in a community are following proper land use objectives, that is going to be something that is of that's contributing to value. So that looks to be a good answer. Houses of varying sizes and architectural styles. Well, this is something that, yes, if you're in a really high, like a really great neighborhood, you may find custom homes that are of different sizes and maybe different styles, but that is not a norm. Normally, when you're looking at neighborhoods and communities, if they're of a bunch of different sizes and architectural styles, that is causing an issue, and that will be something that will not maintain values, and that will affect values detrimentally usually. So you have to look at what's the better answer. And I believe between the two of them, conformity to proper land use objectives, that's something that will always maintain value. Whereas if you have varying sizes and architectural styles, that could be something that might maintain value. But overall, I don't think it's something that will, depending on the neighborhood that it's in, because this could be in a lower socioeconomic area and they might be just having random houses, random improvements, and different types of styles, and it just doesn't look good. Then we have mixed residential and industrial uses in the same area. Normally, if you're buying a home to live in and you have an industrial property nearby, that's not going to be something that is maintaining value. That will detrimentally affect your value. So that is something that would not contribute to the maintenance of value in a well-planned community. Remember, so this is saying a well-planned community as well. So they're saying this is one that's been thought out, and so it's following it. So also that goes back to the second answer of usually well-planned community follows very similar size styles and very similar sizes. So the best answer looks to be A, conformity to proper land use objectives. That is something that when you have the principle of conformity, when everyone in the neighborhood is following what is been laid out or planned, then that is going to keep and maintain values and also maybe increase values based on it. So the best answer is A. 5. An appraiser considers the addition of a swimming pool to a property as it increases the property value more than the cost of the swimming pool. This would be A, progression, B, regression, C, contribution, D, none of the above are correct. Well, what are we talking about here? So we're considering an appraiser is looking at the addition of a swimming pool to a property because it increases the property value more than the cost of the swimming pool. So the property usually will not be increased more than the cost of a swimming pool when it's a single family home. But if it is an income producing property, you can usually charge more in rent. And a lot of times this would be like an apartment building, for instance. And you can charge more in rent, so you're going to be getting more net income. And due to that, you're going to be recouping more of the cost that you did of the swimming pool, but you're also going to probably be increasing the value because of your net operating income increase. And due to that, there's something called the principle of contribution that is something that would be the best answer just from looking at this. But let's make sure. Well, progression and regression deal with property values being increased or decreased based on the neighboring homes in your area. So that doesn't really deal with this when it's talking about your specific property with adding a swimming pool, and that the cost of the swimming pool will actually be less than the increase in the property value. So overall, you would be between contribution or none of the above. So if you didn't know what contribution was and you then would have to guess between these, you might go with none of the above because you might be thinking, well, maybe it's not contribution. But if you know what contribution is, then you'll know that is the correct answer here, because contribution deals with what you're doing and what you're putting on the property, that you're actually going to be increasing the value and usually increasing your net operating income because of this decision. And the cost of the swimming pool might be a lot, but you probably will make that money in rent and also in value because of that increase in rent. So contribution would be the correct answer. And remember, contribution deals with the effect of not net operating income, and that's basically what we're getting at here in the question. So the correct answer is contribution. Contribution. So this is just a little bit about appraisal. I hope it was helpful. If you want more questions on appraisal or the other 7 areas of the state test, and also questions to help simulate the state exam, make sure to check out our preparation practice question program we offer. But we also have a ton of other options too to choose from. So otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us and we'll be glad to assist you. But thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like our videos, and we'll keep producing new content. Otherwise, good luck with your licensing journey.